We are live. What is going on, everyone? And happy Wednesday. We got a nice little show for you tonight. We are going to jump on the topics of Steve Smith, that cheating scandal, and then we got Pastor Jamal Bryant and some of his takes, as well as is going through your partner's phone okay? But before we get started, the first thing I need to do is actually turn off my music. So Alexa, pause. So yeah, so y'all got to excuse me because I completely forgot to turn off my music. But fortunately, I have that device that allows me to do it voice controlled. So Jay the Professor, what's going on, man?
What's going on, D-Lance? How you feeling today, man?
And I've had a week, but I am ready to get to this content today.
Ain't nothing like shooting content, boy. I promise you, this is why we need you all to hit this like button. So
Yes,
we hit that like button.
Yeah, when you jump on here, I need y'all to hit that like button and make sure you support by commenting. And this time I'm actually going to look at the comments because I've had a problem remembering to look at the comments. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys looking at the comments and making the comments as well. Before we get started, because I'm sure I'm still waiting for a few people to jump on because obviously we just went live. But any pre-words for about Steve Smith before we look into the video, because that's where we're gonna start with Steve Smith.
Well, number one, hopefully you all are aware of who Steve Smith is. I'm pretty sure most of you all are watching this video.
And if they're not, I got a highlight reel about to jump in the highlight reel after your spill.
Perfect. Just some background information. I've been a Steve Smith fan for a very long time. When he played for the Carolina Panthers, I mean, he was top-notch wide receiver, tough, hard-nosed player. He used to actually block.
Yeah, as a wide receiver, and he was not the biggest guy, on the field.
He was only like 5'8", what I mean? But
he was a monster.
But overall, as a wide receiver, I mean, a guy who can block, catch, run the ball sometimes. I mean, he was a perennial player for the Carolina Panthers. So,
absolutely. So what I'm gonna do is, for you all that have never seen, know who Steve Smith is, or some of you all may be too young to remember, who are football fans, and for those of you who are not Steve Smith fans or know anything about him, let me educate you really quickly.
Fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flags down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime. And a third and going to go deep down the far sideline. It is caught. Touchdown. Steve Smith. On fourth downs. Smith the catch, makes a move, and he's got the first down. Still going down the sideline. Smith is dragged.
I don't know why she's doing it. Right.
He was such a beast, man.
Throws, and that is caught, and getting into the end zone for the touchdown is Smith.
That's the second team.
Going deep and looking for Smith, and he's got the ball.
And let's just let you guys know that was in his later years that he was dominating.
Right. Because he wasn't always he spent most of his years in Carolina, but then this is the older version over in Baltimore. He was still killing it. So yeah, respect to my man Steve Smith.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. Are we ready? So first, we're gonna go through an article. So just so you know, Steve Smith was accused of cheating with a social media user's wife with raunchy receipts, and those receipts are filthy. And we're gonna go over a couple of them right now. Steve Smith is an analyst. He's a retired football player, so you may have caught him on the NFL Network. Here is him on social media. But while everyone was minding their business on the weekend on X, a user who is Tony Martinez decided it was time to put Mr. Smith on blast for cheating with his wife. Now, here is the reply video for this, but we're going to get to that a little bit later. I want to go through the actual video before we hit this reply. But he was they showed the proof. He was pulling receipts of the cheating with the steamy text and the new photo of Steve Smith, which is unbelievable. And you know, of course, social media users got to it immediately. So what I'm going to do is show you a couple of the receipts. So this man, there's one person on X to put it all in perspective. A man found that former NFL receiver and current NFL Network analyst Stephen Smith Sr. has been sleeping with his wife. He posted text and a phone call on X after finding out. Here are the texts. Take me down your beat, and you kind of like you wanted to me off. Look at this. I did, but I would have on it, but I had to come home. Ooh, you enjoy it. You like, oh my goodness. I mean, look at this. This is like crazy. I like feeling it deep in my wet. Ooh. Me too. Letting you taste it would be such a turn on. I would have shot my wow. I love making you. I enjoy it more. Blah blah blah. Yikes!
I didn't see that part.
So, I mean, this is what he caught his wife texting this dude straight on. This is Tony Martinez with the receipts. So, again, you got unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
So these are the receipts from Mr. Martinez.
Wow.
So let's watch the video now.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you've been fucking my wife, bro. What you gotta say for yourself?
I'm sorry.
You're sorry? You fucking knew she was married. You're not a fucking idiot, man. You're fucking Steve Smith Sr. What kind of dumb shit was that? Why are you quiet, man? Be a fucking man.
Look at the name.
Wow.
Diabolical. 3. That is diabolical. Look at the name. Yo.
You're a fucking man, bro. All that shit you do on fucking TV, all that shit talking you do to other people. Now someone's got you on the fucking phone, you can't even fucking man up.
Yo, that is diabolical. Look at the next. First of all, there's no picture, and then the number is 3. That's what he assigned. Now, if she would have put 89, that would have been really diabolical.
That would have been wow. But she put 3.
So that's probably the third dude she done cheated with. That's probably the significance of 3, just so you know. So when you see weird, talking about some 3.
What?
And welcome to you all who have just joined the live. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me. We're talking about Steve Smith Sr. He is a former NFL player that just got caught cheating, and these are the receipts. You see her text messages, and then this was Mr. Martinez confronting him on the phone. He started playing dumb, but the receipts are the receipts. I mean, this is diabolical information.
What in the world?
And so lastly, before we really get into the analysis, I want to share a little bit from Stephen A. Smith, because he has a really good
I missed this one.
Of course you did. I missed nothing.
A delicate subject is blowing up on the internet. That's the only reason I'm talking about it. Former All-Pro wide receiver Steve Smith Sr. was accused of having an affair with an unnamed woman who's a member of the Marching Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens marching band, that is. The accusation came from a social media user with the handle Tony Martinez, who posted and then deleted the accusations on X. The post also included screenshots of alleged text between Smith and the woman. Again, this is blowing up all over social media. It's the only reason we're touching it. Martinez also posted a video which showed him confronting a man believed to be Smith over the phone. The individual recording the video accused the man of having sex with his wife and asked, "What do you have to say for yourself?" The man on the phone replied, quote, "Sorry," end quote. Now I know y'all expect me to comment. Steve Smith, cool brother, does work for the NFL Network.
That's right.
Got a chance to be in the Hall of Fame as a wide receiver with his year starting for the Carolina Panthers before he went to the Baltimore Ravens. Let me be very, very clear. I have no comment about his situation, alleged situation, with whomever. My comment is about the husband. What the hell are you calling him for?
Mm-hmm.
Whether that was really Steve Smith Sr. or somebody else, what the hell are you calling him for? He ain't your wife. He ain't the one married to you. He ain't the one that allegedly did something that violated his vows to you. What you calling him for? See, once again, I'm touching on something from a generic and general perspective. And I want everybody to be clear about where I'm going with this, because it was not similar in actual incidents, but along the lines of what I was trying to do when I was joking around about Serena Williams dancing on stage. And I was saying about the husband, not even about him, but about any man. How do you feel if your wife is showing energy towards the ex, even if it's negative energy? You'd be like, yo, what's that about? Forget him, you with me now. That's all I was trying to say, but we were joking about that because there's no crime and that is no big deal. We're not joking about this. Fellas, ladies, if you have a spouse that's cheating on you, it's kind of weak to show more energy towards the person they were doing it with that didn't espouse marital. Handle home first.
I'm going to leave it right there. Woo, there is a lot to unpack with that. So I'm going to actually turn it over to you first, because as a former athlete, I'm sure that many amens has accused you, even if you probably did clap some cheeks, cheeked it up with
I got a lot to say on this one.
So I'm going to leave you as the subject matter expert in this.
Okay.
I have my own take, but I'm going to let you lead this, start this conversation off.
Well, first and foremost, Steve Smith owes no loyalty towards the husband at all, right? As a man, if your woman does something that in somewhat ways betrays you, you address her, never just the man, because at the end of the day, a man's going to do what he got to do. So now what he did was he ruined Steve Smith's household or whatever they got going on. Probably not, but you get the gist of what I'm saying.
Right. You know it ain't what.
Right. I don't think she, well, we know, but you don't do that. So you exposing him is you, in a sense, looking for some clout, number one. And number two, that was an emotional decision. You never do that as a man. Regardless whether what she did was wrong or not, you never do that. Fellas, for those who are watching this channel, if your lady does something to you that crosses you or disrespects you any kind of way as far as cheating, don't air her out. No, don't. And you never address the man. You address her, not the man. Because at the end of the day, the man's going to do what he got to do. So Steve Smith owes no loyalty towards his man. Now, being a former athlete, okay, I've been in this situation plenty of times where I would engage in certain activities and end up finding out that, right?
Little cheek clapping.
There you go. When she had somebody, and I had no idea. No idea.
Okay.
And it was just like one of those. I remember, I'll never forget this one instance. It was a church woman.
Mm.
It was a church woman, and she, we were doing things, and she was like, "Oh," and her dude was calling. And she said, yeah, her dude was calling. It's like, and I looked at the phone. I said, "Who's honey?" Oh, I kind of have a guy. I was like,
oh, his name was Honey on the phone.
Yup.
Well, that's not as diabolical as 3. That's the part I can't get over. Go ahead. Because I got so much to say on that.
I was so just taken away. I was like, wow, like you're this choir girl that's like preaches the gospel.
It's always
quotes.
Yeah.
Every Bible quote in the book. You talking about Bible? She was a Bible freak.
All right, can we sidebar real quick? Sorry,
Go ahead.
We might as well just sidebar that conversation because I'm gonna forget to say this. And so this is probably going to be a controversial take, but fellas, beware of these church girls, because when we are out there looking and see these Instagram profiles of that Proverbs woman and all this stuff. As soon as I see a profile with some Bible verses, I ain't gonna say deuces, but I'm gonna say red flag. You know what? That's what I need to do. I need to get on Amazon and order me a red flag. So when we have these conversations, I'm just gonna wave it, wave the red flag. Yeah, let's put that on the t-shirt, wave the red flag. But that is an instant red flag. So to your point, man, yeah, I'm not surprised.
It seems nowadays, and I don't want to get too historical on people, but once upon a time, the church community amongst our community was sacred. Now it's a complete joke. I'm gonna just say it's a complete joke. It's a laughing stock. And we're gonna get to. It's funny how
I was gonna say hold on to that story because literally our next story is going to really pivot right into that. So
I know,
it's going to pivot into that. But my thing is with coming back to Steve Smith. Well, the wife, she's the diabolical one because number one, like I said, I'm still stuck on 3 as the number in the phone, and then how graphic she got with with her text. I mean, if you're married, why are you just putting this? Why would you even put this on your look at this text? Why would you even put this on your have this even available to view? Look at this. I mean, she's raunchier than he is. If you really look at it, she's the one, but she's the married one. So, and my other thing is and reason I played that Stephen A. Smith, it's funny how they have the same name. That Stephen A. Smith clip is because I side with him of like, bro, why are you if you see your girl out here acting a fool and cheating and doing whatever, why are you confronting them? Why are you confronting the man? And brothers, we always talk about when women, do that, why you confront the other woman, instead of your man, because that's kind of always a thing, but he's sitting up there doing the same thing. And so I gotta call him on the carpet. The women, women's doing woman things. So it's what it is. But my thing is you still as a man gotta stand on business even when things are falling apart, and that man did not stand on business at all.
Not at all. He's weak, a weak dude for that. I can't respect that. And now, you broke up a household that didn't need to be breaking because that man owes you no type of loyalty.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's already rich, and his house is probably not going to be broken.
Oh,
the thing about let's be real. One thing about professional athletes, most of the time, the women that are with them,
they know what's up.
They already you go into it knowing if this is what it is. If you are a woman with a high income earner, there is a extremely high chance that you are going to be one of many. It's just a matter, are you going to be the main? And so the whoever he's with, or his wife or his girlfriend or whoever, probably already has an understanding. The only problem he's going to have is being sloppy, with him, because as we know, some people, it's like, as long as you don't do X, then I understand what happens here stays, whatever happens there stays there. There are understandings and there are arrangements in certain types of relationships. When you are in the top tier as a man, you understand you're not going to be committed. That's especially when you're younger. We just have to be honest, and
Absolutely.
if the woman, but there are some we reviewed last week. There are a lot of women's like, I would rather be one of several with a high income guy than one-on-one with a guy that is broke or not, that I'm going 50-50 with. And that's a quiet thing among a lot of women. I ain't gonna say most, I ain't gonna say all, I'm gonna say a lot, because I don't know all.
I know a few personally that would be
Oh
down.
yeah, my anecdotal opinion on that is I would say 80%, but
Yeah.
I'm speaking of, I can't put that across all women. My anecdotal says an overwhelming majority of women will prefer to be with a dude that's a multimillionaire than a dude that's that she's either making more of or even paying 50-50, because 50-50 is just not a lot of women settle for it, because that's they were like, well, I'm not going to be the number one, so I'll just take the 50-50.
Right.
But let's be real, the guys with the that are the multimillionaires, ain't gonna happen. So we got to be real. So my guy, he's sitting up there trying to clout chase, saying, oh, I got Steve Smith on the phone, let me put it on X. So now we've had a whole discussion for the last, what was that, Friday? So
and guess what's about to happen next, Derek? So
what's gonna happen next?
With the husband Martinez, watch him get on podcast and sit down talk.
Oh yeah, let's see if we can find. Let's do some trolling. Let's see if we can find Mr. Tony Martinez.
He gonna be on a couple podcasts and sit down talks. He's gonna get some clout off that, and then it's gonna die out. I think one thing I don't like is the fact that as a man, especially if you're in that top tier and you have certain arrangements or you're doing certain things, just don't embarrass her like that. And just the way it was exposed is just unfortunate. But it will heal over. It's gonna heal. She'll be all right.
Yeah, let's see. Lamborghini. It looks like well, he's Latin. I was gonna say it looks like a white guy. See, let me see if I can find it. I'm trying to find it because let's see. His profile he don't have it under that. So let's see. Lambert. How does he have it spelled? Because this guy's trying to hide his profile. Let's see if we can.
Of course,
we can fish it out.
He couldn't handle it. Now he got all that clout. Now you don't know how to act.
Lamborghini. Let's see if we can find him. Nah, I think he closed his profile. Dang it! Because I sure was pulling it up. Yeah, I think he closed it because I'm looking for it in the search in X search, and yeah, it's not there. But yeah. So any last words on this topic? Because this is a complete disaster. Before we get to the main topic of the night,
this is a disaster. But at the same time, fellas, if your lady steps out on you, address her and then move on or do whatever decision you got to make, but never address the man.
No, I mean, my thing is, why are you first of all, why are you clout chasing? And number two, to your point, I mean, so my thing is, what are you trying to get out of that? Like, what's the resolution for? What are you gonna say? Oh man, I didn't know. I clapped her up, and because come on,
literally, bro,
that was a mess. All right, are we ready for the next topic? So, going back, we talked about the church girls and this, that, and the other. But before we get started in this next topic, everyone that is showing that has showed up to the live, I appreciate you very, very much. So go ahead and hit that like button for me and hit any leave any comments as we go through this. So I appreciate you again for joining the live. But anyway, going back to the church girls and how, when we see one thing on their profile and their whole life is completely different. Speaking of that, we are going to discuss a particular pastor who has really been in the news. He's done a bit of clout chasing as of late. And believe it or not, in a life past, I actually used to listen to this guy. He's a very good speaker. He's really charismatic.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
But Lord, Pastor Jamal Bryant, I'm sure you all have heard of him. He is the husband to Miss Carrie Baby, pastor, prayer, podcaster, public servant. And so he's been on his political crusade for the last little bit. And I notice with a lot of Black pastors in particular, they're very, they pick a side and they really kind of
it goes against what a pastor is supposed to represent. You don't.
Yeah, unity is for one. Yeah, he can be extremely, in my opinion, very divisive. So, and when I say divisive, this is what I mean. And we covered this before, but let's go ahead and hit this clip. If you all remember, this was right after the inauguration. Well, no, this was the actual inauguration.
Better watch a rerun of anything. Go watch Sanford and Son. Go watch Martin. Go watch this service all over again. Delete Snoop Dogg out of your discography. No Band-Aids under your eye. Delete Nelly. Delete Rick Ross. All right, I'm gone. Love y'all. Don't you?
That was the first thing. Delete. My thing is, okay, you have a different of opinions, but how is that serving? As a pastor, you're supposed to be a servant of Christ. Exactly how is that really serving Christ? I'm not getting religious over here because I am not a pastor. I am a former church, regular person. So I do know a little bit. And I think that is really off task.
Yeah, it's hypocrisy. I think that's what's turning people off about the church because of stuff like this.
That's one. But at the same time, a lot of church people, when they look up to someone like this, and so as a leader, I just feel like you really should not. You should be more pro something instead of anti something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if you are supposed to be a leader and a positive leader at that, and all the things that your profile said.
Yeah, absolutely. And from as far as saying the right things and believing the right things, from a pastor standpoint, you're supposed to continue to, hey, we're just going to pray for a specific candidate. I don't agree. Maybe you don't agree with a specific behavior, whatever, political.
You can pray for. I'm fine with that. My thing is, my whole thing about it is when you are really kind of kicking down other people in the process of trying to uplift someone else. Exactly. That's my whole issue. Exactly. So the New York Post also, I love it. It's funny. I'm not gonna say I love it, but I think it's funny how they frame this. Pro-Farrakhan pastor leading Target DEI boycott calls Black Trump supporters C-words and runaway slaves. So this is the divisive behavior I'm talking about. And again, if you want to do that, that's fine. But why the need for name calling? The pastor behind it's really Al Sharpton, so they kind of got it wrong there. But they're both pastors, and again, they're both kind of these people.
Not a fan of either.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, my personal feelings aside, but their assignment is supposed to be uplifting, and again, it's divisiveness and name calling. Is what I have an issue with. The pastor behind the boycott of Target, due to their decision to roll back DEI initiative, have a long history associating the Nation of Islam. Louis Farrakhan recently called black supporters C words in a fiery speech. And so Dr. Jamal Bryant, the head of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, recently called for a 40-day fast from shopping at Target and other stuff because it's spit in the face because of their lack of commitment to DEI. And just for historical sake, years ago, many years ago, when I was, going to church regularly and I lived in Atlanta, I actually went to New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, and that was when Eddie Long was the pastor, and that was before the
okay.
the boys and the men and the tight naked, not naked, but darn near naked photos and all. That was before all of that scandal stuff. Again, another very charismatic preacher that really uplifted people, but at the same time, his life and what he preached did not mirror each other, and that is something similar to the new pastor at the same church, and that's why I even brought this whole thing up. And I'm going to explore exactly why I feel that way. Not even feel that way. This is the conclusion I've come to, whether it's right or wrong, or this is my opinion.
Hypocrisy.
Yep. So we are going to break the spirit of white entitlement. We are going to break the spirit of racism and sexism, and so that is on his DEI rant. And again, I'm not really into the linking it with Farrakhan thing. I think that's another, scare tactic by the New York Post. But, because the New York, so there's two New York papers. One is the New York Post and the other was New York Times. New York Times is liberal. New York Post is more conservative. So, of course, each of them, as a former media employee, I understand, there's different. That's why a lot of larger cities have two papers. Like Chicago Tribune is more conservative, and sometimes, well, actually, both of them are liberal. But in some cities, there's a liberal newspaper, and then there's a conservative. And New York Post, for example, is conservative. So they are going to. Yes, so a lot of just look at a lot of the large cities and their alternative paper. The smaller papers in liberal cities are always the conservative ones. So just pay attention. And then in cities that are like Miami, the Miami Herald is more conservative, and the other newspaper, I forgot the name of it here, is more liberal. The Fort Lauderdale Sun Sentinel is more liberal. So you got to pay attention to the audience. And so with media, you always have to pay attention what angle they're coming at. And as a person that is neither liberal or conservative, I am on a case-by-case basis on everything. I see the gap in how they try to manipulate you into their point of view.
Thank you.
That is just my opinion on that.
I'm in the same exact boat, Mr. D. Lenz, and because I definitely see gaps on both ends. And we're not gonna get too political, but I see exactly the messaging behind each media platform. But I always like to go for the facts versus the feeling versus the point of view. I want to go for the facts. What are the facts? So yeah.
And so here is actually we are going to, which one I want to go to. So also there was a whole thing. Remember, we just talked about Pastor Bryant calling the people that went to the White House, the White House Black History Ball, C words and runaway slaves and all types of degrading, language. And so this is his response.
For me all week, you've been nervous all week, but I ain't afraid of the spooks that sat at the door. These runaway slaves hiding in the White House gonna throw my picture up thinking that I'm gonna be afraid. If you got real courage, don't show my picture. Show the picture of the one that fired the Black Joint Chief of Staff from the military. If you gonna show a picture of the CEO of Target, Walmart, McDonald's, and Amazon that does not recognize black dollars or black business. If you gonna put up a picture of the state legislators in Florida that are banning black books. If you gonna put up the picture of the one who is stealing classified information from the IRS and Social Security. If you gonna put up a picture of those that don't want your mama to pay $35 for insulin and your child to pay $35 for inhaler. If you gonna put up a picture of those that are jailing children and separating families. I ain't ever scared. In case you forgot, I'm from the west side of Baltimore. If you got a problem, pull up on.
All right, hold up. Before you say anything, hold up. I got the perfect clip to summarize it. Before you say anything, I just want you, let's watch this clip. He said, pull up on him, right? Is that what he said? Matter of fact, we got somebody that pulled up on him.
I'm the streets, man. What I want to know, man, cold-blooded, man. Like I'm saying, man, you say you for the people. You got our people all up in your church. You know what I mean? You're supposed to lead these people, man. And I mean, I understand that y'all separate. You had no answers for like, yo, man. Then you come down here like late, like I'm up on the ground like 100, like 300 something days. You down here now. Don't come.
What'd you do for Taco
We don't want you nowhere in our city, yo. Like you don't need, yo. We don't need want you on our streets. Like you disrespect our streets, man. This me, PFK Boom. I was on the front, you disrespected up here north, and you came down there, you ain't fighting no war with us, yo. You ain't had nothing on your shirt, you ain't had no guns or nothing. And then you fucking with our oppressors. What you mean, how you fucking with Roland Blake and all them, man? You trying to kill us, man.
Where were you for
That's you are, man. But we telling you are. The streets feel like you killing us, man. All right. We don't want you in our fucking city now. Then get the fuck out the whole city. Is it that easy? Then we can better get you the fuck out of here? No, sir. Well, check this out, man. Don't come nowhere down here no more. Wherever PFK Boom at, don't come. I know you can try your henchmen. I know you, yo, T and all them. I know you be going scenes right about all that. Get the henchmen. Don't come down here no more. Boom said, me as a man, the streets don't want you here. I'm speaking for them. So we see you here. So you said you won't come on my motherfucking streets no more, right? Don't bring your ass down here no fucking more. I mean it, yo. On my fucking kids, yo. Cause you're a fucking disgrace. A guardian angel for Satan. Bro. Cause you damn sure ain't guard me, nigga. Get the fuck up out of here.
What you do for Tyrone West again?
I love this.
Now, so he said, pull up on him, right? Is that what he said? When he was pulled up on in Baltimore, this was about 8 years ago. Where is he now? He's in Atlanta. Because after the scandal for New Birth, which left them pastorless with, a bunch of, they just rotated visiting pastors. They couldn't find anyone. He came to it. They elected him as pastor in Atlanta. And so they ran him out of Baltimore because we got the receipts. It's lining up. Hey, Shante, what's going on? Thanks for showing up to the show. Hit that like button for me.
What's going on, Shante?
But yeah, so that just goes to show you, man, everybody, the last one is I said, all the preach talk. But then when it gets real out here on the streets, this is how people really feel about him. He can be safe in his house, but this is what the real world is. And so we only see one side of it, especially because, the media wants to show one side, but there are plenty of other things that we can go into. And in fact, I'm glad you asked. There are other things about Mr. Bryant that we have not, that media just tends to forget about. So, Ebony Magazine, this was back in 2013, this is years ago, but they apologized for publishing rumor of teen affair that he got a 17-year-old knocked up. So we don't, this is alleged, but at the same time, you even put yourself in a position for this. And Ebony did. If Ebony Magazine posted this, it had some legs. That's all I'm saying. We don't know if she made it up, if she aborted, but there was something going on. There's smoke. Many times there are fire. On page 124, they they posted that he impregnated a 17-year-old member of the church. And again, I'm not sure in Maryland if she's legal, but it's too close regardless, especially when he at that time was 41.
Ain't that stuff? Ain't that stuff?
Thoughts?
Well,
I know I threw a lot at you.
I would say this. I'm gonna just, like I said, I'm gonna take my personal bias towards him out. But as a person of leadership of some sort, you have to stand on business, man. I mean, the hypocrisy, because that's gonna haunt him forever. And also, when you mentioned the real life versus the internet, right? The internet is very biased, right? They're only gonna show one aspect of him. But in real life, when you're walking out in public, that's what dictates everything. You see everybody make these posts about 50-50 this or who has options. When you're out there in real life,
yes.
How do people treat you in real life? When you're walking that restaurant, how do people treat you? When you're walking in Target, how do people treat you?
Right.
Now, you may be the type of person to get a bunch of likes on social media, but get no type of interaction in real life. Or you may be the type to spit game on the internet, but when you're actually interacting with a woman in real life, actual social skills, the actual ability to engage in a conversation, engage in the dialogue. So real life is everything. This is why I'll see social media posts. I'll see how a specific person would act on the internet, but in real life, completely different people.
Yeah, and that's why I love, technology and social media is a gift and a curse. But at the same time, imagine if we didn't have, the only thing we would have is television, and that would be someone making a decision of what they should show us, as opposed to, because I grew up when there was no internet, so so everything had one direction. It was like what they told us, and that was law, right? See, now we can dig enough receipts because there are enough people that care to say, you know what, this ain't right. Let me put another point of view up here. And then it's up to you as a person to make sense of it. And for me, again, I just pulled up the facts. I don't have an opinion. I have an opinion, but I show you why I have the opinion, because I'm just not just one-sided. But let me pull one more clip, because I love receipts, right? Absolutely love receipts. So with this one, we have we got to remember he had Tweet, that was the first lady. Then we had Dr. Carrie Turner, and that was another one that accused him of cheating. And then we had Giselle Bryant, who accused him of cheating, and then did a whole spread. This lady right here, this is current wife, who did a whole spread on her ex-husband, who is now her re-husband, I guess, in his cheating past. So you sitting up there telling people one thing, and then look at your life. Why should we listen to you, of all people? So here's another. According to Pastor Jamal Bryant, recently faced more cheating accusations as rumors swirled around the internet. Had recently filed a child with a member of the congregation. However, these rumors have been shut down by the Bryants and supposedly false. But again, why are you even in? We have a lot of pastors, right? How many of these pastors are always in these allegations, right? That's my thing. So if there's smoke, there's fire. That's all I'm saying. I just don't. I don't know about that. That just sounds a little suspicious to your boy.
And that says a lot about where the church community is heading. I mean, attendance is decreasing amongst men in general.
Decreasing. It has the church has been decreasing even since when I was going. It was not. I remember when I used to go to Salem Baptist Church of Chicago, and then New Birth Missionary back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Two large churches, and it was almost. I remember it was always, focused on the men, because when you sit in there, it's easily 75% of women, easy.
Yeah,
and it's very easy. I mean, in the Black church, it is easy 75% of women, and the men that go in general are men that are either in relationships or married to the woman they're going with. They are very few, and I was one of them. Very few men that go on their own. It's not a lot. It's a very small number. And so that speaks volumes. But at the same time, the leaders of these churches are almost always men. So some ain't adding up. I am proud to say I'm very good at math. I always have been. And so when I look at numbers and things are not adding up, that is where I'm at. That ain't adding up to me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's funny when it comes to this topic, and because I remember I went to a specific church and I noticed the numbers. I'm like, there's a lot of women here, which is good. Where are the men at? I mean, this kind of translates to education.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in the church, mom's, still goes, and my dad wasn't really, that wasn't my dad's thing. And
He wasn't. That wasn't his dad.
No.
Really?
No. So the older I get, the more I'm like my dad. I will say that. Me and my mom like this, but the older I get, I really start adapting some of his ways as I get older, because I understand a lot. So that's why it's really important to have, fathers and male figures in your life, because there are some things that, your mother will love you to death, but as a man, sometimes you need to know how to navigate, and seeing that example absolutely helps out.
That's interesting. It comes from that era. You would have thought that from that era.
Not my daddy. No.
Wow, that's interesting.
My daddy believed in working. My dad was working and doing his thing when he wasn't. That's how that works. Look, I work 1,000,000 hours a week. I am not going to church on Sunday. That is not what he was interested in. So
I got a high respect for dudes from that era, my father's era. Those guys were like true, like masculine dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, work. I mean, you got to look at it. It's like, all right, I work to, support you, you and the wife. So I need a day to myself, because I work Monday through Friday and then get overtime on Saturday, when overtime was an actual thing, instead of before there were things called salaries, when they actually paid you hourly and paid you for the work that you did. So, yeah. Anyway, last topic. We got to jump over to the last topic about looking. Is it okay to look at your partner's phones, like, snooping? But what I found is, I found a post on the internet about this same thing, and it might be illegal. Let's see what this young lady has to say.
Number one, and ladies, this hurts my heart to deliver this news. It is now illegal to go through your husband's phone. And this is for every ear that can hear me. This is not just a Texas issue. This is also a federal crime. The Federal Wiretap Act states it is unlawful to intercept any wire, oral, or electronic communication. It is also unlawful to disclose the contents of the wire, oral, or electronic communication. Y'all know what's considered electronic communication? Text messages, emails, DMs. I was in court waiting on my turn, watching another hearing before me. It was a divorce case, and the wife was on the stand talking about adultery. Her attorney then started the process of admitting text messages into evidence that showed the husband was talking to this woman, and it was very inappropriate. The text messages 100% proved husband was cheating. There was photos, there was conversations about the other night. All of a sudden, husband lawyer jumps up and says, Your Honor, I think you need to admonish the witness about her Fifth Amendment right to self-incrimination because she's about to tell on herself and admit to a crime. The judge then proceeds to tell her that how she came about getting those text messages out of her husband's phone is potentially a violation of the Texas Wiretap Act and the Federal Wiretap Act. He looks up at her lawyer and says, Counsel, the fact that you're in possession of unlawful potential wiretap material incriminates you as well. And the judge did a quick recess so everyone could go consult with criminal law attorneys. Coming in at number 1, and ladies,
Ooh, see, a lot of people don't know about that. Just what dude did in our first segment, that is illegal. That is totally illegal. So if he does divorce her, she can bring that up in court because you can't use that as evidence. So ladies who love going through your man's phone, if your man is smart and if he's watching this video, which I hope he is, that is criminal. You can get sued or who knows what. I don't know what the statutes are, but it's a thing. It's a federal. She said it's not only Texas, it's a federal law.
Dude, you know, certain dudes don't read. So
I didn't know that either. Well, yeah. But now that we have it visual, we have a video of this, maybe some dudes will actually watch. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And let it spread. Each one teach one.
Funny joke. Man, the thing about my past experience with some of these ladies that I've had, man, I should have made some money off that.
I don't know when this law was instituted. This was posted about 6 weeks ago. But I don't know when this law. I don't know anything about the law. I didn't get a chance to look up the statutes, but it is a thing. And you know, for me, one thing about me is I have learned, and I've told anyone that I have dated, and I can pull receipts. The first time you ever look through my phone will be the last time we communicate.
Absolutely.
And I stand on complete business and on that. And I mean it because I'm not looking through your phone. And I'm going to be honest. I got a confession. I looked through my ex's phone one time. But do you know why I did it? Is because I wanted to plan her a surprise party and I had none of her people's numbers. And I took the delicate care to not look at any text to get her sister's number out of her phone so I can surprise her. Otherwise, I have never done it. And I felt so bad sneaking because she was in the shower. I felt so bad for sneaking in her phone. I was just like, I feel like the biggest hypocrite in the world for doing this, but she'll appreciate it later. And I told her after, I was like, I'm sorry, I had to sneak through your phone to get this information. Otherwise, I would have never been able to do it. So I felt bad about doing it. But there's like most people and dudes too. It's not only on women. Other dudes do the same thing.
Let me see your phone. Why are you texting him? Why
or
are you
even that,
like that?
They try to wait till she go to the shower, go to sleep, and go through your like what like that is from a dude is the most feminine thing ever.
Never. I've never done it.
No, I would never do it. So, you know, ladies, gentlemen, don't look through your phones because it is illegal.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you can only focus on what you can control. You can't try to stop her from doing what she wants to do. I mean, that's the wrong mentality to have. If you feel like you have to stop her from doing what she wants to do, then that means that's not somebody you should be with. If that's how you feel, fellas.
Ooh, that was the exact point I was about to make. I'm like, if you're at the point that you have to look, if you feel like you need to look through someone's phone, that is the biggest red flag of, you know, letting you know either you ain't ready for them or that person isn't to be trusted. Mm-hmm. And it's not even about trust, it's about personal space. Like, it's just like me saying, you know, when you're at work, if I'm at your house, I'm gonna go through all your belongings. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. Like, just because I have access to your house while you're not there, I'm not going to go through your drawers and go through your wallets and stuff like that. That's the same thing. So going through your phone, trying to catch something or catch somebody up That just shows either you're doing some mess yourself, which is a lot of times the case, so you can have justification, or you're so insecure that you just got to know if somebody's cheating. Ridiculous. I would never. At least I got some standards.
Literally.
So, all right. Well, that is going to be tonight's show. Any last words for our people out here? Any last words on any of the 3 segments? We switched it up a little bit tonight because we really wanted to be more topical and focus on standard topics. So let me know in the comments whether you like this format just a little bit better of really focusing on a couple topics as opposed to just kind of running through a lot of reactions on posts. Let me know in the comments. But last words.
Three comments real quick.
All right.
Number one, the Steve Smith situation, fellas, never address the dude, address the lady, or do what you got to do.
Never, ever, ever.
Number two, Pastor Jamal Bryant. Just pay attention to people like that. Hypocrisy is something that I cannot stand, especially with a particular content creator that I used to not necessarily watch, but see from afar, and he is a victim of this same. Well, not a victim, but we know who he is. And number three, fellas, never go through a lady's phone. Focus on what you can control. Now, my ladies who's watching this, please do not go through your man's phone. Please, please, and please. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I 100% back all 3 of those statements. So that is a wrap for tonight, everyone. So if you are still watching, make sure that you hit that like button for me. And if you have not, subscribe to the channel. And every week, as you know, I drop at least 2 full videos and a live show. And I'm considering adding a Sunday show. So make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you will be notified every single time that I drop a new video. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.
Woo!